Court address. We're down at the Norm Dix building. We'll be starting here in just a few minutes. So glad that you can join us today. We will be simulcasting on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook, broadcasting live on 5 channels. And also, BCAT is here. They will also be broadcasting, so you can watch it on BCAT's channel and then probably on their YouTube channel once they finish the stream tomorrow. So, again, we should be starting here in a couple minutes. Thank you all for joining us, and we hope you enjoy the state of the court address.
Thank you. You may be seated. Good afternoon. I want to start with acknowledging the lands. We honor our indigenous lands. And what I wanted to do was to figure out how and the best way as the court to be able to bring that acknowledgement and part of today's presentation. A couple of things, and I looked at both our Bremerton High School, Olympic College, all of our educational institutions to see how they had their land acknowledgements. And I want the commitment of honoring our Native communities and making that a part of our education. The Suquamish people, expert fishermen, canoe builders, basket weavers, the Squabs live in harmony with the land waterways along Washington's Central Salish Sea as they have for thousands of years. Here, the Squabs live and protect the land and waters of their ancestors for future generations, as promised by the Point Elliott Treaty of 1855. It is my honor to stand before you as the presiding judge of Bremerton Municipal Court. As we mark just a little bit over my 1-year anniversary, I felt that it was important to be able to bring into our community, because otherwise our community doesn't know what happens in our courts. So first, I'll acknowledge that it's very significant that I'm here today. This is Black History Month. I want to acknowledge the leaders that have come before me: Alan Hazel Coven, Alice and Loxie Eakins, the Walkers, Marty Crutcher, Ted Spearman. My fellow veterans and active duty members, leaders, elected officials, the NAACP president, retired Mayor Patty Lent, family and friends, and our entire Bremerton community, whether you're here in person or you're on and going to be able to watch on BCAT or the live stream that's being provided today. Thank you. The State of the Court Address is my opportunity to provide the community that elected me with how far we have come in the last year. It is an opportunity to communicate my continued vision since my election, what I've accomplished the last 12 months, and what we have accomplished, where we're going. Additionally, see how the courts are a crucial part of educating the public on the independence of the judiciary. Court rules govern and specify under General Rule 29 how our authority comes. Bremerton Municipal Court is a court of limited jurisdiction, meaning misdemeanor and gross misdemeanors. Also traffic infractions. But what a lot of people don't know is we deal with civil matters in a different kind of way than Superior Court and District Court now because of rule changes. We used to do protection orders. We still modify no contact orders, and those motions are brought by victims. GR 29 recognizes that the presiding judge as the official spokesperson for the court. As the elected judge, I am the presiding judge. The court has one part-time commissioner Jennifer Cruz, she replaces Shane Seaman, who was elected to district court. The slides in the presentation are going to show you some of the staff. Next slide. So I'm also introducing you to our court administrator, Jennifer Johnson, who comes with, I'm going to say 30 plus years of experience, coming to us from Des Moines as the court administrator there, and previously being elected as the court administrator of the year in 2019. And up on the screen is Jennifer Cruz, our new court commissioner, and presiding. She's also worked as a pro tem for the court. So you see a picture there. I want to send a gracious thank you to Skookum. Skookum hosted us for our first retreat as a staff, and being able to be in an environment that was welcoming. Departments advise us to make sure that we err on the side of caution when we're in certain public settings and in large crowds. And if you're feeling ill, to make sure you have a mask, stay home. So we're still monitoring that, but we have moved into where we are fully functioning with trials. Previously, there had been in place a mandate for jurors to be vaccinated. Over the last year, that has not been the case. We did end our mask policy for the courthouse as far as mandatory was December 31st. We have continue to have hybrid hearings. The remote hearings access for our courthouse to even be able to come into the courthouse and appear via Zoom if you're feeling ill or not, being able to have that access through your own means, but also in how we have our hearings for those that are in custody. Zoom has been a vital part of the court hearings process, and not only for our courts, for superior courts as well as district court. And I do want to acknowledge Judge Hemstreet, who's here from Superior Court. So over the last year, from about March through November, the court has successfully applied for and received grant funds. Those grant funds in the most recent includes the 0.1% from the county. And we're the only municipal court that has received the 0.1% for establishing a therapeutic court and a community court program. State grants include also therapeutic court funding, community counselors funding, an AVN media grant, because we have not had updates to the courthouse AV media system in 12 years, 13 years, 14 years. But this grant will allow for us to bring technology that needs to happen, and we need the technology to be able to function at a level that the courts are now requiring for to continue the access to justice, to allow for the remote hearings. We are a community of retired military government individuals that come in on contract, that live in Alaska, that may get a ticket here or may get into trouble here. And to be able to allow for them to participate fully in the court proceedings, we need to have that technology. Backlog funds, everyone is somewhat familiar with the Blake decision. Blake funds for reimbursing those individuals who successfully vacate their convictions, and they pay those fees for reimbursing. So the state has provided funding so that the city isn't bearing that burden and the cost and trying to figure out, okay, how are you gonna now reimburse those individuals? And as well as interpreter funds. So over the last year, because of technology, we've been able to use virtual clerks. And that brings us to O-courts. We are a court that uses O-courts, and those virtual court clerks that are assisting also use O-courts. Because of this program that we have been able to implement, that allows for judges who are single court judges like myself, for us to be able to support one another. That technology will work even better once we get the upgrades. So in addition to Laserfish, because what you have is computer systems that are 10 years old. We get the refurbished of the refurbished of the refurbished. And if you're running all of this new technology on those systems, they crash. We are in hearings and things are stalled. I also want to acknowledge in the room is Mr. Murphy, one of our public defenders, and working with the jail over the last year and being able to use O-courts in the jail. That is something that technology has moved us forward with. That software is very vital to our day-to-day functions, especially in a day and age where the appearance in a hybrid fashion is needed for access to justice. We have a new AV media cart with the most up-to-date equipment. And there is a thank you to our IT department for providing the support in getting that AV cart up and running. We have been able to use that AV cart in our trial proceedings. We've had, I think this last week was our maybe 5th trial. And the AV media cart allows for the prosecutor and the defense to be able to share evidence. And we actually also had an expert witness appear from across the country via Zoom and utilizing that AV cart. So overall, when it comes to technology, we still have a long way to go, but I'm hoping that by this time next year, my report will be that the courthouse has now, both courtrooms have now been fully equipped and functioning, and we are anticipating that to be happening. So next clock, next slide. I mentioned funding through grant funds and establishing the Bremerton Municipal Community Court, which is our therapeutic court. That program was successful in starting January of this year. We have our first participant in that program, and we're real excited because healing the community by healing the individual is so key. Our therapeutic court addresses mental health and substance abuse. Prior to the start date of January 1st, we had several meetings, several planning. I had Stephen stand up as the therapeutic court coordinator and even establishing a new job description. I'm thankful to West Sound Treatment Center, Kitsap Mental Health, Agape, Peninsula Community Services Clinic, PCSH, for supporting our program and continuing to provide the support that's needed to make this successful, as well as transportation and support through Gather Together, Grow Together, and the support from retired Judge Roof in meeting with me, and him being the first judge to establish a drug court program in Kitsap County, and having been a public defender during that time. It was near and dear to my heart to make sure I had a conversation with him, went over my ideas and thoughts, and we were on path. But I'm able to bring full-time support in our county. We have Bainbridge Island, we have Port Orchard, Hillsborough. They this year, but we haven't had any increase in staffing. So our goal is to this year discuss increasing in staffing. People think about the therapeutic courts, and some say, well, is this just another program to let people out of jail and to continue to give them a pass? The community court, our therapeutic court program, is about restorative justice, accountability, and giving them the resources and tool to treat the whole person. If we can treat the whole person, we can be successful in making our community safe and making that revolving door that has continued because they may have went to treatment for substance abuse, but they didn't get the medication that they needed for their mental health. So now we have tools in place to make sure that they get the medication for the mental health and they get the treatment for the substance abuse. And they don't have to have both, but the majority of what we see is that it is a combined issue. And with the pandemic, we're seeing so many more mental health issues, depression, all of those things that are coming forth that are issues for our community. Next slide, please. So this goes in to address. interactions at one of our youth and law forums. Key in understanding
And we opened it up to not only the court staff, but the prosecutor's office, the defense office, and anyone who wanted to attend. That is also key, is being able to be aware of surroundings and what to do in case of an emergency. There's been different cases where we've seen security issues at courthouses. We are located right downtown, and there is a lot of movement of our homeless population, and it's important for the staff and those that come in for our juries, trials, the jurors to feel safe. And then there's also other educational opportunities that are nationwide. Judges in the courtroom, moot court, things that happen outside of the court that I have participated in and will continue to participate in over the next year. Next slide, please. So the therapeutic court and the programs that I mentioned.
it's a new way of challenging what has been the quote unquote norms, and this is how we've always done it. Accessing more. So before there's a conviction, as well as when there is a conviction, because again, the court is concerned with the safety of the community. And when there's issues that arise, that also we may be able to. We are considering night court, night traffic. partnering in with other courts around the state on the licensing and relicensing. So I also want to, over the last year, as a new judge, I attended National Judicial College in Reno, Nevada. I also am going to be a presenter for the fall conference. And it's the first time as judges around the state since the pandemic. So that's a very key training to be a part of. And just as we as attorneys are required to continue to have CLEs as judges, we're required to have CJEs.
All right. So you just got to experience the first State of the Court address by Judge Tracy Flood. Wow, quite a bit of stuff going on in such a little short amount of time. Pretty powerful indeed. We look forward to seeing all the new things that she plans to implement and continuing to do, just being so effective. So it's just fantastic to see. And what's awesome is having that information reported out so that people can get that information. Because oftentimes we don't know what's happening, right? We want to see what's going on, and we don't know what's happening. We think things are happening, but having someone share it out and give that um, that transparency, if you will, is tremendously helpful. So tune in next time. This is the Conduit. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Go ahead and use those cameras. Get some of that action. Okay? Leave it on the people.